Continuing on with the Sefer Mareh Yaakov, we're learning Parshat Noach. We're on page 18 of the Noach section, Bereshit chapter Zayin, chapter 7, Pasuk Beit, the second sentence. This is a munach. This is a combination, munach revi'i. After this first munach, there is always a pause. I'm just briefly looking at his writing here and what it says. Yeah, okay. So it's a little bit unclear in the print of the text. That is a munach, not a mercha under mikol. So from most. Comparable to yourself, the selection from most of the original species will be made with the purpose of preserving their identity, as indicated by the shape of the reading mark followed by the psik. So we'll remember, if we could, that the combination of munach revi'i, after that first munach, there's always a straight line after that word that tells us that we've actually got a full stop after that word. So we're going to do a munach, which is something that separates from the things from before and then goes on, but then we've got a psik right after it. So we're going to both exclude this from things before, and we're going to say it's somewhat attached to things after it, but it's also separate from things that are after it. So we have both elements in this munach revi'i combination. So again, comparable to your self-selection from most of the original species is made for the purpose of preserving their identity. And remember, mixing of species was basically the sin that the animals have to pay for. So preserving their own identity, keeping them separate from the ones in their generation, but also making them distinct in the generations that are going to come forward, in that they're not going to repeat that mistake, is what we're trying to imply here. Is that they are both distinct from what's before, and while they're going to continue on as what they are, they're going to continue on in a different way from the way that they were behaving before.
Interestingly, he said mikol is from most as opposed to from all, because generally mikol would be from all.
He frequently translates kol as most. We'll go through it, but we'll see that repeatedly. Habehema, of the cattle. The preservation of the cattle will prove to be most beneficial. This is another munach. So again, it's separating out from what's before and moving forwards. The preservation of the cattle will prove to be the most in many ways, both for man and for the world at large, as denoted by the shape of the reading mark. So again, it's going to separate the cattle out from the rest of the animals, and it's going to say that they are going to serve a purpose in the future. So again, we've separated out, and we're moving forward. Ha-tehorah, with a revi'i. A revi'i, as we'll remember, is a note that emphasizes the word, separates itself out from what's before it and what's after it, and allows it to stand on its own with some emphasis. And it's also a word that you sort of have a little bit of a pause afterwards. So as I said, it stands on its own. So the clean one, ha-tehorah, in particular, the clean one will be a multilateral asset, and as a supreme value, it deserves to be saved, as pointed out by the broad meaning of the reading mark. So it's going to stand on its own. It's going to be a category in and of itself. It's going to be something that is important in and of itself, separate from the fact that it's just another animal. So the purity of it, the cleanness of the animal, is going to give it a role that is distinct from other animals. It will also have a sacrificial role. It will also have a holy role. And we have another note here. Rashi says in the name of the rabbis that this indicated in Noach study Torah. I'll just briefly read the Rashi. Ha-tehorah. Rashi says, Ha-atida liyot tehorah liYisrael. The one that in the future will be classified as tahor, pure, for the people of Israel. and this is a quote from the Gemara Zvachim. Lamadnu. So from this we learn Shelamad Noach Torah. How could Noach know that this animal in the future is going to be something that's holy, other than through his study of Torah? And this again is something that's quoted in Breshit Rabbah. So this is the Rashi that he's quoting. The Rashi says in the name of the rabbis that this indicates that Noach studied Torah and knew which animals will be pronounced clean. But Noach was only mentioned to be a just man, Ish Tzaddik, a man of the ground, Ish Adamah, which we'll say later, but not a prophet like Abraham or Moses. How could he know the Torah? At this point, I'll have to refer to my remark in the first sentence of the Sidra, Et Halokim Hitalech Noach. Again, the word et is untranslatable, but it has both Aleph, the first letter of the alphabet, and Tav, the last letter of the alphabet. So, the good doctor is saying, by the knowledge of the alphabet, Aleph through Tav, through the first sentence of the primary Torah, by knowing that through the actual letters and the connection between the Hebrew language and things, existence and spiritual existence, so knowing their Aleph to Tav, Noach possessed sufficient wisdom to decide, because the first Torah was exclusively from the Tree of Life, from Eitz Chaim, and from the world of nobilities, Olam HaTzilut. And we didn't go over Breshit in detail, and we will once we've got a lot more under our belts, because it involves a separate amount of Kabbalistic learning that I think we should get more of the rhythm and flow of the Perush first before we come back to that. For elucidation, I will quote it with great timidity. Elokim bara teshamayim v'ha'aretz. He writes, while I write this, it is night. I will go over that once we've done more of Breshit. So there is a reason why he says Elokim bara, and there's a reason that he says he's doing it at night. But I think it's not for our discussion here. Number 4, Tikach Lecha with a Tevir. If you remember, Tevir is a note like a mercha, a sort of a forward-sloping, gentle curve with a dot that's in between, and it symbolizes something that is protected or sheltered within. In order to compensate for their heavy losses, you shall take for you to the box an increased amount of specimen, as stressed by the shape of the reading mark. So he's going to take it where? Into the teva, into the box, where it's going to be sheltered and safe. So that's the implication of when you're taking it to a place that is sheltered and safe. So it's not just that he's taking it and squirreling it away for himself. He's taking it in order to be inside the protected environment of the teva. Shiva, 7, with a mercha, followed closely by the word shiva, 7, with a tibcha. So we'll read through both of them and see why one gets a mercha and one gets a tibcha. Mercha is this gentle forward-sloping note that can draw stuff from before it, but not necessarily, but emphasizes its connection to what's going to come. 7 suitable pairs shall be admitted to the ark for procreation of healthy, selective stock, as shown by the directional shape of the reading mark. So you're going to take 7 so that they can lead to a race of animals that goes from there on. It's forward-looking. Shiva, the second 7 number, the comment number 6, 7 corresponding, the one with the tipcha, 7 corresponding animals of the opposite sex shall constitute matching pairs, as suggested by the closing shape of the directional reading mark. So the second number 7, which has the tipcha, which is that backwards-looking and putting together with what we've come before, the first 7. So the second 7 are going to be the complement, the mates, the things that complete the first 7. So we have the 2 words with a mercha and a tipcha. It shows the one is leading into the other. The second one is completing the first set, and we get a little bit of extra meaning into the fact that it's not only 7 pairs, but we have to separately say shiva, shiva. to say that they are going to serve their own individual roles. Ish, a male, with a munach under it. So again, this is going to separate itself out from what's before sharply and move forward from there. It shall also be observed that a male partner shall be in the lead, as indicated by the direction, as expressed by the shape of the reading mark. So, the pairs themselves is a distinct concept from the roles that Ish and Isha are going to have. I'm saying Ish is going to have its own role. It's going to be separate itself out from the world, and it's going to be something that moves forward towards a goal. And we're going to complete number 8, V'ishto, and its female. This is with an etnachta. Etnachta, as we'll recall, is a stable base with something that looks upwards from it. So what's the role of the female? The male walking in front, and its female of the species shall follow the male, and it shall be the standard principle and proof of purity, as per the reading mark. The female is going to be what the ideal is. It's going to be the source of stability. It's going to be the source of what is going to be maintained in society. The female has this maintaining, stabilizing role, and the male has this forward searching, trying to get somewhere, not quite sure where you're going, lots of potential, and not quite sure always where you're aiming, but certainly having your own initiative and going, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead, just going. So
Boy, how right.
very true to the Kabbalistic concept of what male and female energy is, and the social reality of what male and female are.
Completely. Bang on.
So, very interesting. Ish v'ishto, munach etnachta. Lovely demonstration of what they are just by the notes that are under them.
And the female follows the male, and that I think it's speaking to the stability in terms of building forward. If that was the traditional role that Kadosh Baruch Hu created in the world, and each of the animals had deviated from its original path, to say these are the ones that are true to the original creation, that's why we're separating them from what came before and going forward. The fact someone who can accept the passivity and accept the lead, to follow a leading animal would be a good counterbalance to someone who only takes the lead, as opposed to everybody is taking the lead.
So we're gonna pause at this point because it's 8 o'clock.
Okay. Thank you.